lines. The government failed to meet key milestones in the last 6 months of 2019 that would have fastened or rather hastened the country's realization of its dream to be an oil producer. All right.
Very interesting conversation there, but I want us to begin with that story of the political bulldozer. Is it true? Is it the correct depiction that Raila Odinga is a political bulldozer, having dealt blows to several politicians along his way in his career? Do you think so, Gladys?
Does that mean Jubilee could also then be going?
Good morning, somebody. I don't know about bulldozer aside. What I know is Raila Odinga is a politician that cannot be wished away in this country. I think he is, a strategist. He is. Many times people have written him off, have said Raila is finished or he should go to Bondo or, whatever it is. But because of his history in the politics of this country and because of how much sacrifice he has made, to bring Kenya to, the multi-party state that it is and the democracy that it is, Raila's name will remain etched on the whole ways of the democracy of this country, democratization of this country. But that, that he's responsible for, for deaths of political parties and so on, that I don't know. And to say that Jubilee is facing possible death thanks to his maneuvers, I think Jubilee has its own issues. And Raila Odinga should not be brought into Jubilee's issues.
But Honorable Wanga, the thing about our political parties here in Kenya, they're based on people and ideologies. So tomorrow, or rather, when we now saw the handshake happen between ODM party leader and Jubilee party leader Raila Odinga, just like most political parties, that's where the next political party could be coming from.
I think the handshake,
the lifespan of Jubilee could also be coming to an end.
The handshake and the BBI process are a bigger issue. It's bigger than political parties. It is a bigger Kenyan issue and where we want to go as a country and how we want to go there united, in comparison to where we've been in the past. But to say that Raila Odinga is responsible for Jubilee's death or near death or whatever else it is, I think Jubilee must look within itself and deal with its own issues without dragging Raila Odinga or anybody else into those issues. Raila Odinga is the party leader for ODM, and ODM remains a separate political party from Jubilee. So I think if Jubilee has issues within itself, they must look for where those issues are coming from, and they cannot project that on Raila Odinga.
But I mean, Honorable Boss, we can't ignore the fact that the handshake happened between these two political parties and their heads of the political parties. That's how a lot of truth and unity also begins. But that means Jubilee would have to put its shelf aside, same to ODM, and perhaps a political party would be formed then.
Yeah, okay, I think let's put it this way. I will definitely agree with Honorable Wanga that Raila Odinga is a formidable politician.
Here's what I found.
He's a formidable politician. I think he has made his mark in history. He has been a formidable political, opposition leader, and has been able to raise certain issues and keep the government in check for many years. And that we must give him credit for. But when you talk about him being a political bulldozer or that he's a big strategist, a strategist who has lost every presidential election he has run. That, I think somehow his strategy must be falling short somewhere. Because if you're running for president that number of times, at least you should win once. Most people have. Uhuru Kenyatta ran twice. I think I can say 2007 he did win.
So you're contradicting yourself.
But even the fact that he's the one who signed their code. He signed their code and accepted the prime minister position. So that is losing because he stepped back.
Gladys,
when he had let me finish first my analysis. How can you
say, I need to correct this.
Yes.
How can you say that in 2007, Raila Odinga won the election, yet even the commissions that are looking into that election do not know who won? Okay,
I can tell you my own analysis, and having joined the Electoral Commission immediately after that 2007 election, from making analysis and looking at the figures, it is my personal opinion that Raila Odinga did win the 2007 election. And guess who was behind him? Dr. William Samoei Ruto. and the whole of Rift Valley. That's how he won. But if you look at it, even if you just look at the figures,
but from your analysis, how is that?
My analysis. Can I give you an analysis? Let me give you an analysis. How does Kibaki win the election as president? Yet he had a minority in parliament. In those days, the voting pattern in Kenya was that we used to vote three-piece suit. So people would walk into the polling station, and you'd probably vote people. If you're voting Jubilee, you vote the whole of Jubilee. If you're voting ODM, you vote the three people, ODM. So if you looked at the figures in parliament, and that is why the Kibaki government at that time had to join hands with Kalonzo Musyoka in order to have a majority and to even be able to appoint positions in government. He didn't have enough numbers. Another one, if you look at the figures of the two areas that they withheld the results at that time, what happened is they withheld the results of a certain region, waited until they saw what Raila Odinga had got, and then reported the balance of what they were short of, so in order to make Kibaki win. And when you analyze those figures, it looked like some people went to the polling station, voted the president, and did not vote for a councillor, and did not vote for an MP. Anyway, that is a long story. You should call me for another show to come and give you analysis. So that is my personal opinion, and I'm being an honest person. Okay. I'm being honest on this. So in 2007, Raila did win. Eventually, he was prevailed upon to be able to pull back.
Why would you dismiss him?
So in my case...
In your opinion, he has won at least one election.
But how many has he run? How many has he run?
3. So
that was the one that he won, which he eventually let it go. So that's what I'm saying is he's a formidable politician. He has made his mark in history. Even if Raila Odinga retired from politics today, yes, you can never erase what he has done in Kenya. And that I will always give him. Because for me, even if I'm not necessarily supporting him for presidency the next round, I do recognize that he is, in fact, a formidable politician, and any Kenyan who says otherwise would be being dishonest. But he must relook at his strategy, because there must be something wrong with it, and his political bulldozing, there must be something wrong with it, because with that number of following, and you have never won an election, something is wrong with your strategy. And I'm very sure that in 2022, he's not going to win the election. Period. Whoa,
you don't even know whether he'll run. But Honorable Wanga, so we're looking at a politician that has been accused of moving with his strong personality to bulldoze against others in how he makes decisions. You recall that in 2002, during the Kanu NDP merger, it was his own decision, and NDP, thereafter, when he fell out with Moi, he went ahead to support Kibaki and even said Kibaki Tosha. The story on the Standard says that he did not consult anyone. Come 2017, and the National Super Alliance happened, and he is accused that after the fallout, he forced his way into the swearing-in without consulting the parties, without having an agreement. Then he went into the political handshake with President Kenyatta without consulting anybody among his coalition partners. So when you look at that, how do you rate him as a democratic leader? Does he really believe in democratic, the parameters of democracy, bearing in mind that he does not consult, or he's accused of not consulting with the people he's working with?
So let me say this. So first of all, you've seen how Honorable Boss has contradicted herself, you know, on the issue of Raila's strategy. And I think, you know, winning an election...
It is called putting a caveat and a qualifying statement. That is what it's called. Qualifying statement.
When you say
is
Raila
what the auditors call it.
Okay, all right. Let's get
when
back
you say Raila has never won an election, and then you come back and say he won in 2007, really, my English tells me
he has never become president.
That is contradiction. You said he never won. You said he'd never won any election. And so this is the contradiction. You know, even the people who do not necessarily support Raila, I think they have that contradiction within themselves. They don't know exactly where to place him. And that is why he is called an enigma. Difficult to understand, you know. He is called an enigma. You can't read him from what you see. And I think in 2007, in 2007, as Gladys Boss has said, this country was on the brink of, you know, of burning, and we remember what happened. And you know, and after the handshake, we do not want to talk too much about, you know, the past and how much we have struggled in 2007, in 2013, in 2017. You know, in 2017, even the Supreme Court nullified the election.
I think 1992, 1997.
The results of the elections. Can I just be given a chance to speak?
How to finish.
You know, nullified the results of the election, and I think that told us something. I mean, that told us something about that election, and that the complaints that we raised as NASA were, you know, had weight. And then when we went back to when we were asked to go back to the rerun, I mean, the ground was still not level, and that is why we did not go back for the rerun. And I think, you know, let's just say that. That has been that, but Raila remains a formidable politician, and you cannot rule out the fact that he actually won elections in 2007, in 2013, in 2017, all of which were stolen.
Here's the thing, Honorable Wanga, what will become of ODM's legacy? Will it outlive that of Raila Odinga? And if it doesn't outlive Raila Odinga, is that a minus on his legacy? The fact that your own political party cannot outlive you?
I think ODM right now is the party that has survived more than 3 elections. I think all other parties are, you know, wound up after every election. You know, parties are wound up. So I think the institutional strength of the party, and our parties still rely. I cannot say that they do not rely heavily on their leadership.
Okay.
I mean, parties rely a lot on leadership, but there are questions that have been raised by some that I must respond to. And let me start from the more recent, talking about, for example, the swearing in, and you know that the swearing in of Raila Odinga as the people's president was a very, very heavily discussed subject. And anybody saying that there were no consultations is lying outright. You tell me, before we came to Nairobi...
What we know, even from the book published by Musalia Mudavadi, is that yes, there were discussions, but never an agreement. Because even his running mate, Kalonzo Musyoka, was uncomfortable with oath-taking.
So let me just tell you this, for example. Before we came to Nairobi rally, there was a rally, the last rally before coming to Nairobi was in Homa Bay. You tell me what Musalia Mudavadi himself said at that rally. He said that we have been holding this break to make a nyanga. If you remember, yes. That, I don't even know if kinyanga is a Kiswahili word, but he said to make a nyanga, na sasa tumesema break imekatika. What did that mean? What was that statement to the people? It meant that they were trying to hold back, but now they had resolved to go on with it. So if you chicken out at the last minute, you cannot then accuse your partners of not consulting. And let me tell you, even about the handshake, the person who has even the NASA partners have agreed that the handshake was the way to go. Kalonzo Musyoka has said he supports the handshake
last year.
Musalia Mudavadi has said he supports the handshake. Moses Wetangula has said he supports it, and all of Raila Odinga's bases.
Okay.
If you want to know that decision is supported, all of his bases have fallen in line as far as the handshake and the BBI process is concerned. So I think sometimes you don't have to, you know, talk to people about everything, but then the fact that you're leading them in the right direction, you see them coming into line and following that direction. For example, I mean, you cannot say that the handshake was not good for this country. Okay. It was.
Okay, all right. I want us to take a break so that we can bring on board Alice Ohome, the Member of Parliament from Kandara constituency. She will be joining us shortly. You can also text us your views on 22422 or Twitter at Citizen TV Kenya. Tsamgituko @Zinzi_K. The hashtag to use is Daybreak. There are several conversations that we'll be having shortly after this break.